Your run up, you guys just really smooth, controlled run ups. You don't want to be sprinting full speed at the ball. Just try to kill the ball. You don't want to be swinging through 100%. Never swing through 100% on a goal kick. It's closer to like 70. All it is in your technique. You'll know when you hit it right, when you barely feel the ball at all.
And there's a few great ways to work on your technique. One is finding a partner to hit a ball back and forth with, and honestly, this is the most efficient way to work on your technique. But if you don't have a partner but do have multiple balls, I personally like aiming for the crossbar. Just be sure to pick a distance that is close enough so you can fully focus on your technique, because you don't want to feel any pressure about not being able to reach the crossbar, which means you should really only be missing long or just below. And once you feel really comfortable at that distance, you can back up 5 or so yards and try hitting the crossbar from the new spot. Personally, I love doing this since you have a visual target to aim for, and there's not really many things in life as satisfying as hitting a crossbar from distance. But if you don't have a partner or multiple balls, you can just hit the ball into the net. Again, just focus on your technique. When you struck the ball cleanly, you should barely feel the ball in your foot at all, and you should be able to see the backspin on the ball. But to get to your guys' technique to where it needs to be, you're gonna have to practice this by yourself. Just doing it at team trainings isn't gonna be enough. So even if you don't have a friend, you guys need to find a way to be practicing your technique, because you need to get in as many reps as possible to have it improve.
If you're struggling with goal kicks, but in line with their ankle, which is incorrect, you need to be leaning away from the ball. What that gives you is the ability for your foot to be straight parallel to the ground and get that loft and that distance and that direction that you need. And as we go the last step, we have more power, hands are spread.
Body should move forward after striking the ball. This is how you know you have the right technique down. If you want to make it more dramatic as well, once you kick the ball, you could do a slight jog after. This is mainly just to practice overreacting your follow through. If you put all of these points together or not getting the distance that they want to get, when it comes to a kick out, it is all about technique. You should never force your kick. When you result to forcing your kick, that's when everything goes wrong. If you get the technique down right, the distance will come down with it over time. It's all about practice. Practice makes perfect. And ultimately, if you do constantly end up forcing your kick, you do have the chance of getting injured as well. And don't get me wrong, I have been there. I have done this before, even this season, multiple times. All I can say is that this is the most common problem I have come in contact with multiple different keepers who have asked me what is wrong with their goal kick. They can't get it off the ground, they can't get the distance they want, so they end up completely forcing the ball, trying to hit it as hard as possible. And when you do force the ball, you either end up hitting it in the wrong place, so it doesn't get the height. You try to hit it as hard as possible, so you don't get the accuracy. And ultimately, your whole technique is wrong, so the kick out goes wrong. And then you get frustrated and you do it again for the next kick out. And it's a cycle that just keeps happening. So if there is one thing that you can take away from this video, is do not force your kick out. Practice your technique, whether you get down early at training and you practice it before training, you do 10-15 minutes after training, or even on a day when you're not training, if you can get down to a pitch and just kick a couple of footballs, practice your technique. Over time, you will see a massive difference. Another common mistake that a lot of people have is that they can't get any height on their kickouts. And it's a simple fix if you know what you're doing wrong. If you're struggling with getting height on your kickouts, it means either you're hitting the wrong area of the ball or you're not leaning a few yards away. Practice trying to take a kickout and reaching the ball to your teammate consistently over time. Eventually, you can ask them to move further and further back while trying to get the ball to them without them moving too much. This can bring it into a game-like scenario, because when you're taking a kick out in a game, you should have the mindset of trying to take a kick out and getting the ball to one of your teammates to keep possession, rather than just trying to kick the ball up the pitch as far as you can. Now, don't get me wrong, there are multiple different types of kick out techniques out there, like the stab or ping or even the daisy cutter, and maybe we could do another tutorial video on these more advanced techniques in the future. But for now, if you did get this far into the video, you're an absolute legend. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button to help us reach 300.
Go on, Tim. Tim, all the way. Good, now Jack. Okay, now what I've done, you can see where I positioned myself. Tim's absolutely performing really well. We started off against the wind. We just want to work on that technique, okay? Now we're going with the wind, sorry, in a different condition. Now planting myself probably 70 yards. Let's see how he gets on. The technique. Stand above your ball, between your legs, 6 inches each side of the ball. 6 steps back, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 to the side. 1, 2. Hold it there. 2, 3.
As a result. But if you think positively about your kick when preparing, then chances are you'll have a good kick. When you're putting the ball down to kick the ball, try to find a good patch of grass or astro so that your kick can be maximised to its full potential. The patch of grass may be slightly elevated or flat, but ensure that you aren't placing the ball in a dip. Try to get into the habit of putting the ball down whilst having the brand of the ball facing your direction to give you a good area to aim for. When striking the ball, make sure that you kick the ball just below the brand of the ball, so that way you can get the most distance possible. If you hit the ball on the underside, then the football would get a lot of height, however not very much distance. If you strike the ball too high, then the ball would not get much distance and height, and it would fly at an elevation where players would be able to header the ball, or it would drop quite quickly due to the topspin added to the ball. Just to make sure you understand, the lower you kick on the ball, the more backspin you would get, meaning that too much backspin causes the ball not to get distance, and too little backspin causes the ball to drop too soon. Kick too high on the ball will result in topspin, meaning that the ball will drop quickly. So ensure that you kick down onto the ball as if you're trying to kick it into the ground, as it will produce enough backspin needed to go far and will gain enough height for it not to be affected by the wind. Now that we covered the tactical, mental, ball placement and ball flight dynamics part of the goal kick, let's get onto the run-up. As you place the ball down in the correct spot, you will take a few steps back before striking it for the power. At this point, you want to breathe in and out slowly, calming yourself down, and make sure that you don't rush a kick. This goal kick routine before kicking the ball is different between other goalkeepers. However, I highly recommend practicing goal kicks until you find a good routine which works for you. I like to place my striking foot behind the ball and then start stepping back from there. I like to take 6 steps back and 1 wide step or 2 smaller steps to the side, but also could do 7 to 8 steps diagonally. My way of taking goal kicks is different to others, whereas other keepers have a bit more of an angle in kicking the ball. The angle of your run up for a goal kick will determine the flight of the ball. The wider the run up, the more the ball will curl. The more straight the run up, the straighter the ball will fly. Even though that is correct, you can't have too much or too little of an angle, otherwise you will lose out on distance. During a run-up, make sure that your final step is precise, as that is the most important step during a goal kick. Remember, as you are running towards the ball, keep your eye focused on the football at all times to be able to get clean connection when you kick the ball. Your planted foot should be about a foot away from the ball so you can hit it comfortably without your legs getting in the way, and so that you aren't too far apart from the ball, making you have a bad kick. When you plant your planted foot, lean away from the ball whilst lean back and to the side of your planted leg so that the ball can get distance and height, as when you lean back the ball naturally ascends upwards. The more you lean forward, the less distance and height you will get on the ball. When you lean back, ensure that your arms are out wide to stabilise the movement, making the kick more controlled. When striking the ball, make sure that you keep your ankle locked to improve the connection with the ball. Your planted leg should be slightly bent when kicking the ball so you can produce as much power as possible. Your striking leg should be straight as you make contact with the ball, whilst also following through with the kick, as this is where most of the power comes from. You should also drive your hips through the kick, as the kinetic chain of your body would amplify the power. There is a reason why boxers say power comes from the hips. The follow-through leg should cross over your body, making your striking leg step over the planted leg due to the power and momentum produced. As you strike the ball, make sure the contact with the ball is with the laces of your foot going straight through the center of the ball. You want to hit the ball through the center, as that would make your kick go in a straight line to gain more distance, because if you hit across the ball like this, then the ball starts to curl, meaning you are losing out on distance. Before I explain the rest of the tutorial, please share this video with anyone who's struggling to take a goal kick. If you are struggling to get height on the ball, then try to strike the ball a little bit lower to generate more height. If you are struggling to get more distance, then do more strength work on your lower half of the body, so you can generate more power from your legs. As you already know, goal kicks require lots of precision and minor details when kicking the ball. However, the weather may affect your kick. So if the wind is blowing towards you, then you should try to get less height on the ball so you can maximize the distance you can get. If the wind is in your favor, then you would try to get more height, as the air resistance is pushing the ball in the same direction as the ball, meaning that the wind would amplify the distance achieved. If it's raining, then the raindrops would push down on the ball, meaning that you would try to get a tiny bit more height, as the rain won't affect the ball's flight that much. If this way of taking a goal kick doesn't work, then there are other techniques, one of which is relying on your raw power. For this technique, you would do the same steps as the other technique. However, when you strike the ball, you want to hit the underside of the ball with your laces, hitting the ball upwards through the ball with a follow through going directly forwards and up rather than downwards and more to the side. The other technique which can be used is the stab technique. It has a low trajectory and can fly far, but can be very difficult to execute, so it's not recommended. Now that you know how to take goal kicks, here are a few drills to help you practice them. If you got to this bit in the video, comment down below save. The first drill, help of the goal kick. The second drill, you to put the goal kick into practice by having a punt on the halfway line to receive your goal kicks. Whilst you are taking them, try to make it match realistic, working on your distance, height and accuracy. For the third drill, you take a goal kick, then go to where the ball landed and take another goal kick. From there, trying to reach the other goal. The aim of this drill is to get the goal kick to the other side in the least amount of goal kicks. For standards, you try to aim for 2 kicks, and as you get the ball to one side, you can also practice going back the other way. This drill practices your goal kicks individually in a fun way, working on your distance. Remember that goal kicks take time and repetition before you master them. So practice and repeat them, and over time you'll see results to show for it. To improve your goal kicks, make sure that you record them so they can identify errors easily and so that you can improve a lot. So that's how to take goal kicks, and goodbye.
Your target, look at the ball. There we go. Look, there I probably hit it perfect because I hit right at the red guy, and that was probably one of the good ones. And look there, that was a very high ball. That was perfect. Like, as the goalkeeper coach just said. So I actually like to, when I do my run up, I walk up to the ball and then I hit it. And then right at the end, like 2 meters from it, I start running, and that's when I try to hit it with power. And it's also important note, it's about technique first, then you get power. That was pretty much perfect. So that was